Hey guys, it's your favorite auntie, and I have a special guest in the building today. And we are getting into Married to Medicine. We're going to talk about Phaedra joining the cast of Married to Medicine, and we're also going to talk about Quad getting iced out. But first, I need you to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So I told you guys I had a special guest in the building today, and it is Nita Be Honest. And we are going to talk about let's talk about Phaedra first, need to be honest. Thank you so much for joining my channel today to have this discussion. I know how much you love Married to Medicine like I do. So say hello to the people.
Hello, hello.
All right. She's saying hello to the aunties and the uncles and the nieces and the nephews. Oh, and before we get into this video, let me say this as well. You guys know everything in this video is alleged. It is in our opinions. And this video will be filled with dramatizations because you know your auntie is always going to be extra. So first, let's get into the fact that Phaedra has joined the cast of the show. Nita, be honest, girl, tell me what you think about Phaedra joining Married to Medicine.
Child, I don't even know what to say. I'm not surprised. She's been itching to get back into the limelight for a minute now, but I really don't see the point
You don't see the point of
at
her being on the
all.
show?
For one, is she really married to medicine? Child, we don't even know that she's actually dating a supposed doctor.
She lied. She lied to get on the show. She might have been dating a doctor, but she wasn't dating one when this show started. I can tell you that. I absolutely do not believe she was involved with the doctor. But here's my thing. It seemed like if you just really wanted to put her on the show, she is what, a mortician, right?
Yes.
She's a mortician. So why don't you use that angle as her being a part of medicine? I think if they would have incorporated that in as her storyline, which they did kind of bring it in at the funeral scene, but if they would have brought her in saying that, you know, she's a mortician, although she's a lawyer, and we took the medicine part of that, I suppose maybe that would make sense. But to just lie into people's faces and bring her on the show and pretend like she's dating a doctor with the emoji face, I think was absurd on Bravo's part. What do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like, why not use the mortician angle? Because mortician is part of the medical profession. But yeah, her bringing on this again supposed boyfriend, but yet you're gonna bleep out his face. Like, make that make sense to me.
The emoji doctor.
That just, I don't know. It just screams, yeah, she thirsty, thirsty.
Phaedra, are you thirsty? They say fame is a hell of a drug. Matter of fact, I think I posted on one of my shorts on YouTube where I said, "Is Phaedra addicted to the limelight?" And I think she is. You think she is?
Oh, most definitely.
So far with Phaedra's introduction on the show, we've seen her come on as kind of like, you know, friends with Gregory. They say she's been friends with Greg for a very long time, and I don't think she cares for Sweet Tea, although she says Sweet Tea is a very nice girl. I don't think she cares for Sweet Tea. I think she really was trying to talk Greg out of marrying her. That's my opinion, but I don't think she's that big fan of Sweet Tea. I think she came on with the pretending as if her and Quad were friends, but I think they probably were more of acquaintances. And one thing about this show, even if you are friends, it will tear your friendship up, it will tear your acquaintanceship, your allyship up. And in my opinion, it seems to have done just that between her and Quad. What do you think about that?
Well, so what I do know and what I've seen, so I really do believe that once upon a time, Faye and Quad were friends because if I don't know if you ever watched the show Married to Medicine Los Angeles. I only think it maybe had one or two seasons, if that. And they brought some of the girls from the Atlanta season, and Phaedra was actually a part of that because it was women from RHOA when she was on there at the time. Married to Medicine of Atlanta, and then of course the members of the Married to Medicine Los Angeles. And I saw from that clip, you know, the friendship between Phaedra and Quad. Because again, yes, you know, Phaedra, she's been longtime friends with Greg for years, and obviously she met Quad through, you know, through Dr. Greg. But as far as, you know, the dynamic of their relationship now, at least from what we've seen prior to that dinner scene, that the friendship was, you know, I thought, you know, still there, still genuine. And, you know, and just from what I've noticed, it appears as though, you know, to me, Faye kind of came in, somewhat humble, I would say, because she knew that she didn't know many of the girls like that, other than Quad, and I felt like she really was trying to help and bring Quad around, with the girls, but she didn't really know the backstory, the history that Quad had with some of the ladies on that cast.
Yes, and I did see the Los Angeles edition, and yeah. So far, my thoughts about them bringing in Quad and not Quad, bringing in Phaedra and the dynamic between her and Quad, it seemed like that's changing now. It seems as if Phaedra had to choose a side, and she chose the side of the girls because she kind of saw the writing on the wall, what was happening with Quad, and but as a result, so far it seems like she doesn't have anything that she's bringing to the show. So she, at first was trying to bring the girls around, and that was kind of like her storyline. And now, when the girls have clearly shown her, well, we don't want Quad around. Now, Phaedra's just kind of like the shaking the head, nodding, and saying a couple, one liners here and there on the show. I'm not understanding Phaedra's purpose now, but I know we have to continue to watch because I don't even know if we're halfway in for the season, but I just am not seeing the Phaedra that we saw on Real Housewives of Atlanta. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think so far? What she's brought to the show? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, like I said, coming in, I thought she came in, rather humble. Like we definitely have seen a different side of Faye this time around, especially since it's been a minute since she was on reality TV. It's, of course, when her time on RHOA. But at the same time, yeah, I really don't see what her purpose is if Quad is no longer in the picture. Yeah, like what is her purpose? I mean, she won't show her alleged boyfriend, doctor boyfriend.
Nope.
She won't, she doesn't too much, really engage in her personal life.
Oh, and let's tap into that for a second. Let's talk about that, Nita, to be honest. Because you made a good point when you said she doesn't show her personal life. And I don't know how she's going to be able to get away with that on this show. Everybody shows their personal life, the good, the bad, the ugly. All of them have had relationship issues and problems, and everybody shows that. How is it that you then bring Phaedra on the show and she's now not going to be with the doctor anymore? How do you then just show what? Are you going to show just the mortician side? Are you going to show any of the legal side? That's the wrong show for that. What are you going to show? You're not showing what's really going on in your life. You were just on another show, Marriage Boot Camp, with that guy. I can't remember his name. And I don't believe they were together in real life either. I think that was a facade. I think Phaedra's still up to her same old ways, lying about stuff, not being transparent about what's going on with her. So yeah, I just wanted to jump in and chime in on the part where she's not showing her real life, who she's really dating, and if she's dating anybody. What's your thoughts on that, Nita, to be honest?
Yeah, I mean, Faye always been like on the low when it comes to her, personal life. Like we probably won't even get a chance to see her boys, how much her boys have grown. Like what are they up to? What are they doing? And Faye, she like to put on a lot of airs of, just make herself bigger than what it really is. But I mean, it just begs the question, like, what will be her purpose going forward now that, her only friend or true friend, which, since, the season started, what's going to be her purpose? I don't know. I mean, Phaedra just coming across to me like, more than what she proclaims to be. And I'm still doing some of my research about that comment she made at the wedding between Dr. Greg and what's her name? Ice Tea? Sweet Tea. Yes. I'm calling the girl Ice Tea. When she made the comment saying that she met Apollo when she was a senior in high school, I'm like, wait, pump the brakes on that. Is that really the case? Like, it was my understanding that they met well into adulthood, because I recall when they introduced Phaedra and Apollo during her time with Real Housewives of Atlanta, that they met in a different circumstance, not her knowing or being with Apollo since 12th grade. Plus, I think Phaedra's older than Apollo. right?
Right. That's what I thought. And this was the first time I had heard that Phaedra and Apollo went to high school together. I had no idea that they went to high school together. I was like, wait, did I miss that when it was on Real
Yeah,
Housewives of
go
Atlanta?
back to the part where Dr. Greg and Sweet Tea got married, and watch the conversation that Faye had with some of the ladies from Married to Medicine about how she and Apollo met. 'Cause they were reminiscing, about Phaedra's wedding and what that was like. Because she had threw shade at Sweet Tea's
Yeah.
wedding, talking about the curtains could have been at least ironed out, whatever, something like that to the effect.
And I don't know, Phaedra tried to make it seem like that she had this big grand wedding with Apollo, but we remember what Phaedra looked like when we first got introduced to her on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she was definitely not giving taste. She was definitely not giving this interior designer fashion, none of that. All of that was flat. I still remember when she had that baby shower, she had that flower in her head and that bright blue, I think, eyeshadow. Phaedra did not know anything about fashion, and it definitely did not look like she would have spent all this money on a wedding, especially because Apollo didn't have it. And then we remember when we got introduced to them, they seemed to be, just a middle class family, with Phaedra being the breadwinner. So yeah, I think that she's trying to act like
call it Bougetto.
Bougetto, yes, she was Bougetto.
Yes.
So this whole, I just had this lavish wedding. Okay, yeah, and I'm not even gonna go into Apollo because he's reformed at this point. So, and that's not what this video is about. But so I think we probably both agree that we're not big fans of Phaedra joining the cast. I get why everybody says, she's great for TV. I understand this, but I haven't seen the greatness on Married to Medicine. And you know why I don't think we're going to see the greatness on Married to Medicine? Because I don't think she's bringing authenticity. Is that the word I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Authenticity. Thank you. I don't think she's bringing that to the show. When you come on the show and you're not being true to who you really are, and you're having to put on this facade as if, I'm just so well to do, then I think it starts to fall flat, and you start to have to try to make up storylines and make up stuff. And I think she's not going to be successful on this show doing that. You're going to have to be who you really are. And I think it's going to be hard to fit in too, because we're talking about doctors on the show, and we're talking about doctor wives, and you're not fitting into either one of those categories. So I don't even understand why Bravo brought her in like this. I think this is not the best fit for her, but I'll continue to watch the show and we'll see.
And then too, just want to add that, again, Faye was familiar with some of the members of Married to Medicine. But of course, again, she knew Quad obviously the longest. But you got to remember too that the ladies, what they know about Faye. Because what would they say that you have to watch Phaedra sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and whereas Dr. Evelyn Kimes, Phaedra be lying, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so they already know her rep,
Mm-hmm.
that she tends to tell, a lot of white lies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you just have to catch Phaedra. But it doesn't take away, the fact that, Phaedra is a hard worker, and she is a boss.
Absolutely.
She about her paper. But
she's not about being authentic.
Right.
That's the part I think that does not resonate with me.
Correct.
With her.
Right.
But she definitely is. I do admire that she's authentic about the fact that she is a lawyer. Yes. That she works in the mortician field. I'm not sure she's an actual licensed mortician.
I think she is.
Okay.
I think she is.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if she was an actual licensed mortician.
Yes, she is, because she studied for the test and everything.
Yeah. She did. Okay. Mm-hmm. So she's authentic in the fact that she's a licensed mortician. Mm-hmm. But I think that's not, and I think that's probably really what pays her bills. But I think this grand life that she portrays, that part I think is not what's authentic about it. Because are you in court doing cases? Or you, or really, I think she's just hopping from show to show to show, getting money that way. That's what I really think is happening with her. So yeah, I just want her to go back to, I guess if she's going to be on reality TV, go back to maybe Housewives of Atlanta or some other show where you can actually be authentic to who you are. Maybe there's some other show that can be created for her where she can go on that show and wear fur coats and, have drivers and, have marching men bringing down caskets down the aisle. I don't know, child. So we're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot and we're gonna talk about Quad because we said we're gonna talk about in this video Quad being iced out. So the show left off with Quad getting iced out by the ladies. She flew over to they're at Napa Valley in California for Toya's wine tasting that she's trying to promote for her own wine. What is it? A wine club. And so she wasn't, I guess Quad wasn't technically invited by anybody, but we found out later that production obviously sent her over and the ladies sent her back. So, what's your take on how do you feel about that? Let's talk about specifically the table scene where you've got a lot of people who are mixed from what I've seen on different blogs, where you have half the people feeling like the ladies were right in sending Quad home. They don't want her really on the show. And then you have a lot of people that support Quad and felt like what the ladies did to her was just totally wrong. How could they? And they just felt disgusted about what they did to Quad. What's your thoughts about the dinner scene? That's the outdoor dinner scene where they're basically telling Quad, you need to be accountable for the things that you've done to us.
I have a lot of thoughts about that. Well, one, I don't really necessarily agree with the ladies icing her out like that. But on the flip side, I do get where they're coming from about Quad not taking accountability for her action. I have yet to hear Quad apologize, the things that she's done in the past, because it's always like, y'all done this, I've done that too, but y'all did something to me. It was always seemed to be tick for tat to me and not really owning up to her part as to why she's fractured with the ladies of the group.
Now, with saying that though, do you think that the ladies have taken accountability for their part on what Quad feels that they've done to her?
I think so. I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah on that. They've been very forthcoming about, how they've hurt one another. And I think the issue is that they feel like they're not getting that same sentiment in return from Quad, because it's more like, really going back to that casket scene, the resurrection event that they had, where Quad never really addressed their past and just wanted to move forward with the friendship or what have you. And it was again another opportunity for her to acknowledge, this is what I've done wrong, I shouldn't have done that, but moving forward, I tend to be more transparent, be mindful of the things that I do. I love you guys. It's just she doesn't really own up to that as much as she should have, and I don't know if she's in denial or just don't want to talk about her ownership in part about that. Like, I'm not really sure why she just won't feel like she take accountability to that of her actions.
So what would you have liked to have seen Quad say at the table to the ladies at the resurrection scene and at the table to the ladies? If there's anything that Quad could have said, do you think there's anything Quad could have said that would have made the ladies feel differently about her?
Yes, I feel like she could have been more open with her feelings and things that she was going through. She could have, again, acknowledged her part and why the friendship between, among each of the ladies went awry, and just really own up to the fact that, I was different then, I was moving different, but I'm trying to get better now. And I feel like that part where she's, choosing to letting them know that she's in the process of working on herself. I feel like she's leaving that part out. If I don't know if you heard the interview with Quad and Carlos King's interview in its entirety, but the thing that she said to Carlos, she could have very well said to those ladies, especially at the table, because that's where she got vulnerable. And I feel like she wasn't doing that at the table.
And that's probably because she didn't mean that at the time to those ladies. But now that you're on the outside and you are in a position where your job is threatened, perhaps that has changed your opinion about and speaking for Quad, may perhaps this has changed her opinion about uh how she should approach this. And I think that may be why what we saw in the Carlos King interview, we didn't see at the table. I think what we saw at the dinner scene was Quad feeling like, I don't owe you guys an apology. That's how I took it. She felt
Yes, I
like, I
agree.
really don't owe you guys an apology. You've done stuff to me. I've done stuff to you. That's how it is. And so, boom, I'm here and let's film and let's get this check. We don't have to like each other. I don't have to mess with you. I don't have to call you on my downtime. I don't have to call you before we start filming. I don't owe you anything. I just owe to be here so I can get my check. And I think the ladies knew that. They felt that, they knew that, they heard that, and they were not receptive to it. And I think they were trying to show her that, oh, okay, that's how you want to treat us. Well, let me show you something. I don't want to film with you. I don't want you to be a part of this group. I'm done with you. And to me, that's what I felt that this was really about. Them showing her that you want to treat us just like coworkers and like you don't really need us and you're just here to get your check and you want us to just go along with that. And they're refusing to just go along with that. So I agree with what you're saying, that the way that they iced her out, I did not like that because everybody has done stuff to each other. So I didn't think that that was appropriate for them to tell her that she needed to go home, that she shouldn't be there. Me personally, I felt like I would have still would have filmed with her, but I would have just gave her the fakeness she was giving me. So if we're going to show up in the scene and we're going to be fake with one another, then I'm going to just show up in the scene and be fake with you. And that's just because at the end of the day, we're here to collect our check. It's a job. Just like if I go on my job, I'm going to be fake with them. I'm going to be fake with people at my job because guess what? I need my job and I need this check. And so, yeah, I'm going to do what I need to do. It's going to be good morning. How are you? How was your weekend? How's little Timmy doing? Yeah, I'm going to give you all that. Because at the end of the day, I want to get paid. I want to get these promotions. I need to get where I need to be. And I don't have a problem with doing that. It's okay to bring your authentic self to your job, to your work. It's like, yeah, you want to be true to who you are. But at the same time, you got to know what you got to do to be able to advance yourself. And sometimes that means that you have to smile in the faces of people that you don't really care for. That's just how it is in the workplace. A lot of us do it all the time. So just because it's a reality show doesn't mean that all of a sudden it should be like, well, I don't have to do that. Yeah, let's all get this money together. And if what Quad brings to the show, the people enjoy, then do what you got to do, And that's my thought. But I think they was at the point where it was like, no, you could go just like Mariah. That's what I think that they felt.
I may get a lot of backlash for this, but just
Girl, we
hear
don't
me
care.
out.
We just say it. It don't even matter.
So, if anybody who I was really feeling or really felt that they're hurt, they're being genuine, was Dr. Kimes, Dr. Heavenly.
Okay, you felt like she was really hurt.
Oh yes, and you can see it. You can just see that the hurt. We know that Dr. Heavenly has no filter,
None.
at whatsoever, but she really, really was trying to bat for Quad for pretty much since we were introduced to Dr. Heavenly, and she definitely have made it known, what in calling her out, and rightfully so. And you could tell that she was really hurt by that. And she just let it all out. Now, I thought it was kind of punkish of her to let Simone be the sound piece to speak for everyone in the group to say, we don't want you to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I think, Heavenly, for the most part, she was the only one who I feel like was genuinely hurt by that.
And see, and I agree, she may have genuinely been hurt by that. But think about the stuff that Heavenly has done to other people. You don't think Simone has been genuinely hurt by the things that Heavenly has said on her own channel? Toya has been genuinely hurt by the things that Dr. Heavenly has said. So even though Dr. Heavenly may have been genuinely hurt, does that give her then a right to go along with the group to be like, yeah, Quad, bye? Even though I get, like, I've seen Dr. Heavenly's interviews with Carlos, that the on YouTube when they do the podcast together, I've seen those, and I understand her point of view. Why she was saying that she was saying that this girl shows up late, she act like she don't want to be a part of the group, she act like she don't want to film, she just want to get that check. I understand that, and I get where she's coming from, but at the same time, Dr. Heavenly has done stuff too. So I'm just wondering why she wouldn't, even if you're hurt, why you still wouldn't say, hey, listen, this is a coworker of ours. We're all here for the same purpose and goal, which is to get paid. We want to show up, we want to film together. You don't have to have a genuine friendship to film together. So I'm not sure why she would be in accordance with the rest of the ladies to be like, yeah, quiet, bye, or I'm tired of helping you. And maybe that could have been it. Maybe she felt like, okay, I'm so hurt and I'm tired of helping Quad. But at the same time, you brought on Sweet Tea. Everybody said you were a part of bringing on Sweet Tea. And according to Dr. Heavenly, when she talked to Carlos about it, she was saying that she didn't think Quad would care. She was like, I've posted pictures with Sweet Tea before. I didn't think I'm trying to help Quad and save her job by bringing Sweet Tea on. So that gives you a storyline. Okay, if that is the case, did you ever have that conversation with Quad? Did you have a separate conversation with her like a friend would and say, hey, listen, here's a good strategy that I think we should do? Did you do that? Because if not, then it just comes off as if you're blindsiding her. So then why should Quad show up having some special place in her heart for you when you've brought Sweet Tea in kind of like behind her back? And Dr. Quad has said things in her podcast about Quad. And so you can't laugh in people's face and say all these crazy remarks and then turn around and be like, I'm just so hurt that she doesn't, what did Quad say? She was like, I don't have an emotional attachment to any of you ladies. So I don't know why Dr. Heavenly then would be so hurt. Because what kind of emotional attachment did you have to Quad to where you thought that would be a good idea to bring in Greg and his ex Sweet Tea and y'all not have a conversation about that?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just know that in earlier seasons, even at the time when, Quad was going through her divorce with Greg, Heavenly was there with her. And, and let me just say this, like, I know that Dr. Heavenly's hands are certainly not clean. She done, in my opinion, said far worse, to each of the ladies, but I know that, or at least from what I could tell, that really broke her because she's going off of the past, the thing that what they used to have, and all she see with Quad now is, like you said, is co-worker type relationship when it used to be a lot deeper than that. And I just think the things, all her pent up frustration, it came out at that table. It came out, and But I think that, yeah, I think she was the one that was the most hurt over that. Simone, she been got over that. Once upon a time she was genuinely hurt. About Quad's treatment towards her. But Quad took the stand. I'm sorry. So Simone took the stand. What it is, what it is. Quad gonna be Quad, and let that be that. But I just think that like I say, it's just ironic that Simone was the one to be the mouthpiece to tell Quad that you're no longer welcome.
And Phaedra just sat back in the cut like, whatever they say, child, I can't help you.
And that was really too disappointing on Faye's part, because it just goes to show you that she was riding the fence, and plus she doesn't really know her place there. And I think too, it's like, okay, like what you gonna do now? Because you really don't have no purpose. Seem like.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for this part of the video. This is going to be part one. We're going to have a part two session. And in the part two session, we're going to talk about Mariah's thoughts. We know that Mariah recently did an interview, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about in part two what's happening with Jackie. The public has turned on Jackie. I think a lot of people, I don't know if they would have turned on her, but they are more vocal about Jackie now. And we'll talk about the second part of Quad's interview with Carlos, where she gives the apology. And then we're going to talk about just what our thoughts are on where the show is headed. And also, we definitely have to talk about Sweet Tea's addition to the show. So that'll be all for this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. And I just want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel. and are really rocking with me, as a Black content creator in this field with so many other Black content creators who really do an amazing job at this. We are very grateful for the people that choose to listen to our channel. So I just want to make sure I say that. And be sure to drop in the comments what you think about Phaedra joining the show. We're okay if your opinion is different. I'm okay with that. And also, what do you think about Quad being iced out? Give your opinion about those things. And need to be honest, thank you so much for giving your opinion about those two subjects.
No problem.
All right. We'll see you guys in part 2.